So 2 weeks ago, we made an announcement about an exchange that Cell Token was listed on. So I'm going to share my screen here. If you remember, OKEx listed Cell Token, which is a great partnership for us. Obviously, it's a big exchange, very innovative. A lot of great things are coming from there. I'm really excited about it because they don't charge any withdrawal fees. So unlike some of the other exchanges that listed Cell Token, that charge you as high as whatever, 5, 8, even 10 Cell Token to withdraw your coins or tokens, OKEx just has a spread, a small spread. You pay 10 basis point, and it can go all the way down.
Can you put it on full screen, Alex?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. And all right, so yeah, so we have Lance with us from OKEx. He's joining us from Hong Kong as well. And so let's bring him in. Say hello.
Hey, Lance. Hey, Alex. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. It's also very late for you, right? You're in the same zone.
Yeah, just another day in crypto. No problem.
It's a 24-hour business, right? There's no 8 to 5 in this world.
365, including January 1. So that is baseline when we hire anyone. You have to accept the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different industry. I think committing to crypto is not just, okay, I'm gonna work with this cool new technology. It's actually, like you said, it's 24/7, 365, right? It's for some people it's too much, right? They jump in, they see how crazy this is, and they say, not for me, I'm going back, right? Going back to the real world, to the normal living, right?
Yeah, correct. So we cannot afford to have anyone who have an app when we build a company in the first place, OKEx. We don't even afford to have email conversation because it's too slow, right? So everything is chat based, chat. Everything is chat.
So what do you do for OKEx Lennix? Can you tell us about like the mission of OKEx and what sets us apart from other exchanges?
Yeah, sure. So I'm one of the very early member or co-founder in OKEx. So we begin. I start from the very beginning of OKEx from day one. So I hired to build OKEx. So back in the time, we just a purely trading platform serving people in China to buy Bitcoin, not even Ethereum, with RMB. And around 4 years ago, we would like to extend the service to global client, to global customers. So that's why our company would like to build a complete new brand exchanges just to serve global clients. And that's one of the mission. And another mission is we would like to we see the volatility of Bitcoin back in that time is just too volatile. It's too volatile to be anything. Up 80% or down 80% in a very short period of time. So we would like to bring in financial knowledge, financial product to exchange platform, because we believe that if you really want to actually drive down the volatility of an asset class, you need a lot of derivatives. You need a lot of different kind of financial instruments so that people can hedge their risk. People can diversify. People can express their opinion by trading, by going long and going short at the same time. But back in 2017, 2016, we only have spot market. So Bitcoin is really, really volatile because the only thing that you can go short is to sell your holding. So that is one of the reasons that Bitcoin is volatile. So because and so that's our very early mission in OKEx, I think, is we think crypto is a borderless financial ecosystem, and we should embrace that. We should bring crypto to anyone. And our mission is, hey, we really want to tackle the problem of Bitcoin in terms of volatility, in terms of bringing more mature money. You need to have a robust, mature marketplace. and our expertise should be derivatives product. So that's why I built a team in Hong Kong, which is really specialized on product and derivative products. So that's why we keep offering derivative presence and derivative instruments. So that's why I think that is how OKEx be known and be famous to users right now, still right now.
So when you look at, you've been around for several cycles. When you look at this cycle versus a previous cycle, what's your view on kind of both the maturity of the market? Who are the participants? You know, is it more global? Like, what's your view on how this time it's different than previous cycles?
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. In 2017, is purely retail driven. I think I think back in the time that Bitcoin up around 11 times in just 1 year. We don't have CME, Bitcoin futures, nothing. We are Coinbase, or the other rest of the exchange, spot exchange, Bitfinex, Bittrex, including us, is having a big trouble in handling all the incoming registration. We are overload in KYC, we overload in account registration. We have to stop new account at registration back in time. So it's not because so in 2017 we just see a massive inflow on retail new kind of participant, and then come to the ICO, right? Either the ICO craze. But today we see a lot more mature and a much more diversified. As long as I see the data every single day on OKEx, we see a much more diversified on market participant. So after several years of development, exchange is getting a lot better in terms of trading architecture, not just in OKEx, but across the board. Across all the major exchanges, they just get 100 times better, 100 times better in terms of trading architecture, so that they can actually right now finally accept real institutional flow, top-notch institutional traders, high-frequency traders, hedge funds, HFT player. So starting from I think last year around around July or August or somehow around September, we see a massive inflow on our equity balance on tokens that deposits on the index chain. We see a lot more institutional account or corporate account opening. So we see it's just start from there. So right now the marketplace in OKEx or across all exchanges is actually look very similar with stock market right now, a traditional classic stock market right now.
Yes, I think September is when Elon Musk told everybody it's okay to start buying Bitcoin and Dogecoin, you know, so everybody was like, okay, Elon said it's fine, let's jump in. But we've seen Bitcoin went down almost 30% in the last 2 weeks, right? So still a lot of volatility. You would think over $10 billion in liquidation, longs being liquidated on different derivative exchanges. So you still see tremendous amount of volatility. So, you know, you would think that, again, this kind of institutional adoptions should create much more stable markets, much more efficient market, but the volatility is still here. So how do you explain that?
Yeah, I think the volatility is relatively lower already. Its volatility is getting higher just recently because the people are adding leverage. Keep adding leverage, recycling risk, and keep recycling the leverage. We see a lot of liquidation, but it's a lot healthier liquidation. We see several big liquidation over several years. And normally, in terms of when Bitcoin down 30% or 10%, 15%, even 40% in March 12 before, we see a custodial liquidation everywhere. But we don't see that happen like a couple of weeks ago, because we see a really orderly liquidation market. Because so that in general the market is actually, I would say, deleveraging in a really orderly manner. So you can imagine that back, I think we have been going through around 3 to 6 months, we are having a really good year or really good month in terms of basis trading, which means that people are adding leverage, people are playing spot and futures arbitrage, adding a lot of leverage because they're borrowing a lot of money. So the entire yield market in compound or the other DeFi space actually really tremendous good yield because of the basis trading. So people actually just simply deleverage their position right now back to normal, back to usual position. So I think it is a lot healthier market right now. So that's why you can see we don't see a massive sell-off after a 30% drop. The market's actually getting more stabilized, basis return to normal, premium and discount return to normal. Right. Then open interest in terminals. It's actually quite good. It's actually quite healthy. I'm very bullish.
Right. The FOMO is out, but the price is almost as high as the all-time highs for Bitcoin. So I agree with you that is probably a good analysis. So last question for me, just before my last question, all of our viewers like the video, share the video, and put your questions. Don't forget to put your questions for Lennix, so we can basically make sure that we answer all of your things. My last question is, right now you have Cell USDT as a pair, and I know that's a popular pair because USDT is the #1 volume token out there. When are you adding ETH and BTC as pairs for Cell? That's what our community wants to know.
No problem. If your community want that, we can cater. If the community want derivative contract, I think we can. The tag is just there. But as an exchange, we just want everything is stable and slow. We just need to wait a little bit more time to market that to build. Then we can keep adding instruments for Cell.
Right, because one of our community biggest complaints is that some of the exchanges are charging too much in fees. So that's why you guys are one of the best in terms of giving back to the community, charging very tight spreads. So it's important if you add those other pairs. I think a lot of our users are going to be using OKEx instead of other options.
Oh, if that's okay, no problem. I think we are one of the cheapest exchanges, and we charge based on volume. So one of the pure exchanges and also we don't have any referral fees at all.
Perfect. Cal, Zach, any questions before we open it up to the community?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, with DeFi really coming into prominence in the summer of last year, how do you see the DeFi exchanges and CeFi exchanges or that technology developing going forward?
Yeah, I think I think it's a very interesting development. The DeFi is getting close to CeFi, and CeFi is getting really close to DeFi. I mean, in a really technical perspective. For example, I can see Uniswap V3, they have a new kind of AMM. But if you really take in depth look, the AMM is trying to improve the liquidity for major pairs, and trying to compete in terms of the slippage and the spread and everything on CeFi, which is CeFi advantage currently at the moment. Slippage, right? Spread.
Sure.
And you can see an interesting development on CeFi as well. Right? You can see Binance, BS3, 4B, Hackle, and OKEx chain. So we are actually trying to decentralize some of our components and put it on chain. So you can see the two area is getting closer and closer together. So we can see. I think the development will be for DeFi you can have the best view, the best spread, very much like CeFi, and CeFi you can have the similar advantage of decentralizations, certain decentralization offer in DeFi.
Sure. So we have a huge community in Hong Kong. They have their own Telegram chat. Shout out to them. But where do you see not just Celsius, but crypto assets growing in Asia? And is there rapid adoption over there? Are governments being more friendly? Where do you see that moving to next, Cal?
Cal, right?
I think it's very regional based. I think, you know, and then it will be great to get your opinion as well, because I'm sure you guys have been dealing with SFC, right? Like that's the Hong Kong Financial Authority here in Hong Kong. So I think it depends on the jurisdiction you're talking about, but I think, you know, it seems like Singapore is more of a clear guidance now on what to do with these digital assets. But I think, you know, Asia, you know, I always think they're more of the more early adopters of the space anyway, right? Mm-hmm. And same thing for DeFi, right? Actually, when I first got involved in crypto, I was in New York, right? It was a very different crowd than you see it in Hong Kong and rest of Asia, right? We talked about back 2-3 years ago, right? I would say the US in general, a lot of projects, they're focused more on R&D, building out different technologies, right? Even last year, the DeFi boom, most of the innovation are actually coming from the States, right? You know, such as Compound, Aave, Uni, they all led the charge. In Asia, I think most of the firms traditionally focus on more readily cash flow driven businesses, such as mining and trading firms. And yeah, but I think it's been a good combinations, right? Like the technologies might come out from the US, but then Asia is always going to be early adopters and really drive the community forward, right? Because they are more open to deploy the capital into those technologies and really build an ecosystem that way.
Yeah, I strongly agree. So to add on a little bit, or for regulation in Hong Kong, we are actually really friends. Really close dialogue on SFC, on the regulators in Hong Kong and the regulators in China and Korea and Japan, Singapore as well. So in Asia, I think we are heading to, in general, we are heading to a really positive direction, a much more positive comparatively, relatively, than maybe 2 or 3 years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, I can some of them can see that as hostile, but right now, we have a really clear definition, clear understanding, much more clear understanding from regulators that crypto can be defined as alternative asset class publicly announced by Chinese central bank government official. So before that, they think, yeah, Bitcoin is not a currency. You cannot be used as a legal tender. Illegal to use as a legal tender. But right now, but they don't know, but don't explain what that is. But Bitcoin, just recently, they think is a viable alternative investment. So that is much more positive tone attitude to us, which is you can think China is one of the biggest region in crypto.
Yeah, I was in Hong Kong right before COVID started, and it was a meetup. 5,000 people showed up because Vitalik was participating also, and it was just amazing. I mean, the community was so vibrant, so everybody was so excited about developing and building things and so on. And this was not at the peak of the market. This was, we were still going sideways. And it's funny because 20 or 30 miles away from, maybe 50 miles away from there, China is running its new experiment, right, with the digital Yuan in Shenzhen and all the other cities, where they're basically creating a centralized copy of Bitcoin or Ethereum with unlimited supply, right? Unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, which has limited supply. So it's funny to see those two running side by side, and we have to see really who's going to win the race, right? Are we going to win it with a public blockchain, or China or some other central bank is going to win it with a private version of it? So
I think it will coexist. I think they have a very different value propositions. So Chinese CBDC will always be competitors of SWIFT and one of technological tools to promote offshore RMB, which is the national goal and national objectives, coming objective for Chinese government. It's very pressing objectives for them. So I won't see the surprise that the One Belt One Road initiatives, there will be some of the nations starting to use CBDC as the settlement currency if they really want to do cross-border trading with China. I don't see. I won't surprise that would happen, and that will happen very soon as well. But Bitcoin or all the other permissionless blockchain will still exist. It's going to be globally shared and contributed by global community. I think that will be coexist.
Right. Well, I hope you're right, because if China decides that Bitcoin or Ethereum is too much competition and they outlaw it, it will be a big it will hurt the crypto community. So we definitely want them to coexist on even terms.
Yeah.
All right, let's
we have a few questions from the community.
Go ahead.
Cool. All right, Carlos is asking a question for Lennix. Can you fund OKEx directly from or with euro from a EU bank account?
No, OKEx is purely token-only exchanges. You have to buy with euro, with credit card or any fiat gateway for crypto first. Just very much like Binance.
Okay, so you can import stable coins, or you can also purchase on the platform, but no wiring from a bank account, either USD or euro, anything else.
No, OKEx now.
Okay. All right, and Rodrigo is asking, is OKEx supporting fiat on and off ramps for Latin America?
We are actually cooperating with lots of local fiat partners to support local Latin America, including mostly stuff from Brazil and Argentina first for local fiat on ramp. And so basically, but OKEx too. Token-only exchanges, so you have to using the fiat and on-ramp gateway, using local currency to buy Bitcoin or USDT first in order to access all the service and OKEx.
Okay, I'm going through some questions here. Brent is asking, will OKEx offer something similar to Liquid Earn, which is like yeah, are you familiar with that feature?
Yeah, I think we already have it. So I think we're having billions of XX being staked on OKEx Earn currently. So what we actually did is basically offering different options for allowing user to earn a passive income. Passive income including you can lending money to our margin trader managed risk by OKEx. And you can also indirectly participate DeFi protocol for staking and LP. You can maybe, and one day in future, we incorporate with Celsius to offer is loan product directly for OKEx users as well.
Okay, and one more, just I know the community is curious. How can Cell Token become more incorporated in your platform? Are there going to be derivatives or futures or options? What else will Cell be able to do on OKEx?
Right now, spot. So probably after we just listed, so we need some time to build up the market depth. We need to invite more market maker to actually increase the market depth for sales spot token, because spot is like everything. It's like the basic. The basic for risk management for any kind of highly leveraged product or derivatives. So that start first, then we're starting to add margin. So you can probably trade 5x, 10x with Cell very soon. The tag is just right over there. We just need to pass through the threshold on risk. Then we will probably start listing perpetual swap on Cell in USDT using USDT margin first as a start. Then and gradually receive more opinion or more feedback from the community. If there's more community demand, we can probably list futures as well.
Okay, so as our liquidity and maturity on your platform goes forward, we'll see more and more products coming down the road.
Yeah, it would be actually it would be more interesting, because when we add more, we can see instant boost for the liquidity for sales, because whenever for like all the rest of the token, you need different kind of instruments to hash each other, so to boost the liquidity, right? If you have a really strong derivative, for example, like perpetual swap, you will indirectly help the liquidity on spot as well. So it's actually helping each other, so that people can hash each other's. So that we need some time to build the liquidity, the market depth for the market maker, for more community to actually trade, to the market maker to actually post market depth to spot. Then we will just naturally list all derivatives. Then we eventually the spot pairs we're getting even better in terms of liquidity and volume.
Sure.
Yeah, and Celsius is planning to use Cell actually as collateral to enable trading and basically do some of our activities on OKEx as well. So we're waiting for OKEx to approve that, add Cell as collateral, acceptable collateral. So I assume whatever, a few more weeks. How long we have to wait?
Yeah, we just a few more minutes maybe, because we need to pass through the risk assessment, right? So by adding the collateral, meaning that you can stick your Celsius in terms of certain scenario of stress tested, in terms of price volatility, liquidity, in certain really extreme event. Then using that cell, you can borrow BTC, you can borrow Ethereum, you can borrow USDT to trade on Cell or the rest of the other product. So Cell is the collateral. The value is very important.
So it's important for us because we have a lot of Cell, and we obviously want to create more yield. And the way we do that is by using it as collateral to do other trades. So it's good for OKEx, it's good for us, because you want the trading volume, we want all of this. We need all this activity to create yield. So it's a win-win, and so we're looking forward to have that being added, including the other pairs to increase the liquidity. So all that is coming. We just the clock has to work its magic. We have to give enough time and bring few more liquidity providers, like you said. So we have a good plan. Everything is on track. It's behaving well, and we just got to get the volume up.
Yeah, when the liquidity is there, everything will come naturally. When you have more derivatives, the volume will be naturally go up, and spread everything, having a positive loop.
Exactly.
Awesome.
More questions? Or are we good?
No, I want to thank Lennix for his time. I know it's very late there, and we really appreciate you coming on and talking with us, and we really look forward to working with you going forward.
Yes, and when you invite us to the OKEx AMA, I will also do it at 1:30 a.m. So this way it will take payback time,
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lennix. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
That's all.
All right, so Cal, let's jump into some of the, you've been working super hard since you joined. Maybe share with others, because you worked in several crypto-related companies and you have a lot of broad experience, but you helped us bring some really big institutional accounts, and you've been here through that amazing growth that we've seen in the last 6 to 9 months. So maybe share with the community your experience in kind of signing them up, and the volume of transactions with our counterparties. And
so in terms of institutional business, we continuously adding new counterparties, and that's our bread and butter, right? That's how Celsius continue to earn yield for you guys, right? To unbank yourself, and so I think on a weekly basis, I think we continue to sign up more customers. I would say we're adding close to 4 or 5 new counterparties every week now, and that's just for the traditional asset management and trading firms. But on the corporate onboarding side, we actually seeing more and more firms that's got nothing to do with technology firms or crypto. Simply, they could be selling medical device. They're comfortable now to deposit their assets with us, or convert some of their treasury money into stablecoin and generate more yield, right? And that's the trend that we see here on the institutional desk and the corporate side of things. And it's positive. And then now because of that, we need more people. And if you if you're interested in working with Celsius, please reach out to us. And our team is continuously expanding.
Yeah, especially on the DeFi side. So if you have any skills, DeFi skills or Python skills or whatever, those are definitely a lot of the opportunities we have, both on the business development side, where Cal is part of, and on the product development side or the trading desk. So we're hiring as many people as we can find, right? So
yeah, shout out to Oren for helping us find a ton of DeFi talent. Really brought some amazing candidates. It's been fantastic. And as we grow in that space, right, we have our one leg in CeFi, one leg at DeFi. That's what we're going to need, that talent as we keep growing.
Yeah, I threatened Oren that I'm going to have to move him to the HR department if he keeps bringing more and more great people to Celsius. He's like, you have a job to do. You're just hiring people. But no, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's great. That's how Celsius grew, right? I mean, most of our people who joined us are the ones who brought in other great talent, but we just don't have enough. So we want to grow even faster, and this is part of the requirement. All right, so I wanted to cover a topic that is actually very relevant to our discussion with Lennix and OKEx, and that is how markets operate. So traditionally, especially in the United States, we pride ourselves that NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange are the most open and transparent markets around the world, right? If you can rely on the law, you can rely on the financials, you can rely on what the executives of the company are telling you, because the everything operates with a very defined and predictable process. But the reality is that since 2008, basically since the financial collapse, where the Fed had to reflate the economy, and more recently with the fact that the Fed put what's called a Fed put, right? They put a safety net under the market. The markets are now not behaving anymore in this transparent way, meaning that the pricing of stocks or the behavior